Hello, species value nature. I want to tell you the difference between passions and emotions. There's a difference between passions and emotions. See, we have physically delusions wrought areas in sciences because we have interbranched through time, preventing free speech. And then they've been having to hide that, so they've been influencing areas with means to that everyone missed. So that not only did they already do that since before our founders are born, founding parents of every modern nation, what they have manifest are styles of criminal and seditious natures, where they're lying to themselves and others about passionate emotions always. They're in it as an identity of negative value nature progression. No, I don't make opinions anyway. People only are capable of fighting with nonsense, no premises. That's why they use things like dictator, people with passions, people with emotions, as if it means something that it doesn't. Because of how we have states and areas that are sick, fake integrity natures. All locations, states, and areas originally and still. That was per what was left entrenched here that had a whole bunch of nature's motivations, nature's needs, interests, juxtaposed that are other from what uses this remotely, from the definition of that since before electronics. So I would like to make a game YouTube ground. I'll gather around. I'd like to, have help making that. I could design. Faster I can read the book. You guys can do. The important thing is to get it fast for the people, because I want to give the virtual ownership to the game. Because it only feels like game if it's right. We can set up. We set up because if it's evolution's course, if it's evolution's answers to the questions that areas have, that each location, area, and state has. These are evolution's means. One way redeems. Evolution works with ground, always around. Boxings. So I'm trying to tell you, I'm doing the science with my people. And we're going to have sequence. There are 5 identities of sequence nature. I'll address that in the next video. It is to, from, with, and to, from, while as. With and for. To, from, as, with, and for. All things. And it is connected to everything, its own identity forever. Only the extent of it is debatable, but you know what? You can see it debated up front with physical delusions, like about a dictator. The same people that they want to say, oh, about like try to defend the name of their religious leader or whatever. This not as they wanted. They left it in the hands of criminal and seditious nature. All locations, areas, and states, all identity of the ground locations, all standing criminal and seditious nature. Even the prophets or the not the prophet. What's it? Even the disciples of Jesus Christ. They couldn't, they couldn't hand off. Everyone's a standing criminal in the city. It's just nature, self-valued style, pretending to be about positive. As a criminal in the city, it's just nature. You can't stand positive's truth. Yeah. So they have to pretend fight, and no one ever is speaking. Oh, but it's a theater. It's they have nonsense as their premises. Physical delusions are all at the same time, and they have sequence racketeering. I asked since before the Trade Center attack to report things. What don't they do on a mass scale every day? How many people have to report? And why do you think there are shootings in areas? Intercampuses of each age and nature from off them. They are maintained further and further, juxtaposed to what is originally on the ground, internations A through Z. Don't try to talk about my premise, my fucking emotions and passions, anyone. I'll tell you that right now. unless you're going to use real on my people. Because we're going to play this YouTube ground. All gather around. They're not affiliated with me. I'm just as a regular content creator with the YouTube channel of Anthony Wall at youtube.com/user/Romulus Wall. Subscribe. See, we can make a platform where we can make a game, but it has to be simultaneous nature. We're gonna have to set up ownerships. It's a gaming system. It's an ancient gaming system. See, since ancient times, humanity's in a trap, cannot defend their premises treatments and stand heard of English as it is revealed to be taught. Vaccines. And so that's important too, because before it is important for me to work. Before it is important to me to work, you punks, when you're talking about time and sight, don't leave this out. And success. Before it is important, I have to fucking report this, motherfucker. Excuse my language. I asked you to report things calmly, motherfuckers. Interbranch fucking judges and courts and their police forms and prosecutors, not against me, in courts with the areas that were involved with racketeering acts, pretending to perceive things, then in courts, out courts, before and after that, and then in the trade center. They were hiding that as their roles with the trade center. Their roles recorded uses of Saudis as victim predators, also uses of Khashoggi, whatever's in there. Really, even if they made things made up. They're hiding this. Also, Kuwaiti uses of all victim predators. All modern nations is fluent through our nations. We have all kinds of the departments at CCSU involved with all kinds of racketeering with families like a Hanson family and other families on Church Street associated with a house that came into my school when I was in 4th grade. I never had a class with them in grammar school, though. While other people in my grade were in other classes. And then I had my class. And then each year, oh, you have this person. And you know, you don't notice anything because you're just going for positive. But people make confessions. What's that have to do with now? Because now there's a former Mayor Gold and further people with the principal sex offenders campus. And rather than speak about the sex crime acts and the forging names and switching names officers who can't speak to me because they lied. They're not just because they lied, because former director of the FBI is involved with the same house with agents since they were kids with them. We're attaching little kids to also with WFSB, Fox Connecticut News. WTNH attach me and other people to fake locations, fake relationships to complete strangers like a Joshua Julian. Also recorded with the courts involved with depositions where, former director of the FBI was a defendant in a 2006 part of a case. /S. That had to do with my boxing trainer and /manager. At the same time, before the Trade Center attack, I didn't realize it was connected yet. Judges and the police and military police from my town in Intercity, from West Hartford. And I found it's all kind of medical racketeering with the same ones involved with the Scalora family, which is reportedly one of the extended relatives. Also, Phil Colo, one of the extended relatives, involved with forensics clicks through since before anyone was born, but involved with the same house, further involved with the principal sex offenders campus, and with this Joshua Julian, and with interbranch identity thefts, frauds, and racketeering. They know they're making up things in cases. They already did that. And not just in my case. They have it confessed from inside out court or inside the court. They confirmed it. They want to debate. They want to pretend to have the right to defend themselves by lying about what's actually recorded online, by lying about sequence. These are people tied to and as people associated with the group involved with Washington, D.C. from Connecticut. Officer Magnanos recorded and confessed and demonstrated uh, um, arresting officer of me, an officer named Detective Samuda pretended he was an arresting officer of me. He, in other words, attached me to a fake location. Now these are people that made a whole bunch of fake arrests, a whole bunch of fake police reports with police from East Hartford, Wethersfield, New Britain, on the campus, on off it. These are people involved again with the houses in my area, interstate city, state police, their family members already invested to sequence racketeering. When someone mentions a child abuse that's actually recorded, you move right, brother. You move right then. You see, we have a Dillon family. We have a Kevin Dillon, Sean Dillon, Kevin Dillon reported I have affidavit from a stranger kid when I was a kid. This guy's involved with speaking through other people with a crime method. Now this is an affidavit where they had said communications involved with it. He kept telling the kid, Chris Walters, that's now an adult with a whole bunch of brothers of his, or sisters of his, mother of his, associated with Washington D.C. racketeering. Also with sexual circles of all kinds of natures and his neighbors. He's a private school kid. I never had anything to do with him. He used to just make confessions. I understand because they use confessions this way. They have private school kids involved with identity thefts, frauds, and racketeering. They tell principals and stuff behind their backs, oh, this kid's a liar. So we're like this way, but they're lying. At the same time, they're stealing people's free speech, anyone with integrity. They can't say I'm a liar on paper because they fake conversations. They also have vetting associated with this. They're already not by accident. Those are identities of on and off campuses, job relationships, training to jobs, justification. Well, that's how we have to make our living, not by accident. You can't defend that and tell American history by what is true always, not denying sequence. See, now we have logic racketeering natures. Oh, we don't care about your family. Mandated law! Mandated law! So when we have to extend it, the New Britain Superior Court has recorded, confessed, and demonstrated on off-campus uses of their court since I was a kid. Offensively preventing me response to anything in writing because they have stacked database racketeering acts roles, sequence shift roles, recorded how maintain self-value. Specifically, so the girls associated with those sexual circles, everyone speaking through other sickly. Identity thefts, frauds, sequence shift, record, human trafficking, all exceptions criminally denied. Whole bunch of people from CCSU, from my town that I never had anything to do with. All exceptions were set up specifically so they could pretend other there. That's recorded too. As the people involved with the federal criminal code defendants of former director of the FBI, former standing chairperson on racketeering influence in the Corrupt Organization Act, RICO law, Robert Luskin. Now, all this stuff also shows, these are also tied to proven afterwards, which led up to the 2006 district court case in Connecticut, which is one of various natures of courts involved with racketeering on off campuses and through time, and their roles with the principal sex offenders campus. And the other stuff that brought that up to my attention, confessions from strangers, tied to how they had the time, needing to pretend that they had whole groups, whole ages, people hung around with that person, a Ray Colo, who was in my grade. He has a Phil Colo cousin, recorded, confessed, and demonstrated by a Bob Chase and by other people associated with forensics locations. Now, also, there's a Joshua Julie involved with them with wire crime, mail crime, identity theft, frauds, and racketeering. People I never had anything to do with my school and private school kids are next to the schools. Now, this is again, these are again other agencies also recorded and confessed, and their family members actually recorded real sick uses of them. They're only defending identities and means to get over on people. They use methods like pretending to hear. They only hear people speaking about their emotions. They've been forging names and switching names into branch, preventing me a means to counter this. At the same time, while they're lying about what's actually recorded over the phone. Now, these are people that already had roles with AT&T used to keep on and off New Haven FBI. Different things. People associated with the Spada family, also with the judges, like a probate court judges and their extended family members, Della Fair family. I never had classes with them. They're involved with database racketeering, recorded a whole bunch of ways. They're involved with identity theft, fraud, racketeering, time sequence. They time about this person. They're little rat mobs associated with the buildings downtown. That church, a Kerr family, also reported, confessed, and demonstrated involved with a whole bunch of people from my town with New Britain Superior Court with various natures of racketeering, especially regarding where and how they influence this. Too, at the same time, while they have juxtaposed, told to pretend that overt criminal activities, but they have actual racketeering acts with those criminal enterprises categorically, sequentially, even recorded online, like with people that use the name Joey Quest, recorded and confessed and demonstrated involved with racketeering acts, also with my town's police chief and his foreign and domestics, his daughter and her husband, his brother and sister, and mother and father and family, foreign and domestic. His friends, like a John Biano, recorded, confessed, and demonstrated involved with racketeering acts of prosecutors and their family members, including little kids with the principal sex offenders campus number. So I want a response. I want to know the names of my new and past neighbors because they're being coached to pretend things about my passions and emotions out of the sequence. Now that they confessed, recorded, and demonstrated involved with this, with this enough. They were confessed and recorded and demonstrated more than they realize about their roles with this Dillon family and the pattern of confessions and the pattern of racketeering acts associated with them and this Dillon guy. There's a Dr. Brendan Leahy. There are then 3 times they forced me into a triage because I had to use passion and emotions because of the you can't record the police, and because of the crime methods with this Dillon guy speaking through everyone through my lifetime. I have a whole bunch of ways to show you this, even affidavits from a little kid when I was a kid that they kept telling them to write fake, falsified police reports. They attached my family and me, recorded to fake, even with the news, because they had to hide their lie progressions. Because prosecutors, when they were kids, were involved with racketeering with databases, with the impressions of everyone. That's why we have to have their roles with drugs. It's not the drugs itself is bad. Like, it's not good. But I'm saying like Jewel, they have that right next to the middle school note. Locations next to the middle school. People associated with a former mayor Gold, new mayors. You know, in other words, these are people that don't want to. They're going to say they don't understand. They're not really saying that to want me to continue speaking. Let's get to the sequence shifts. Let's get them from the names forging and switching distinctly into branch, individually grouped and together. Because that's who's recorded, obligated here to counter here too. Now that Mueller and company, they pretend they had integrity. How are they going to do it? What are they going to do now? They're caught. They've been lying about mandated law. Follow the sequence shifts, not the money. The money, that's why they smile and stuff like that when it comes to sick questions. The responses to it, disgusting. How you grow plants, things like that. They're all victim predators. No, the science is sharing identity, morons. We have complete, but I sacrificed, I learned the difference between this molecule and this molecule, or this component goes. These are semi-nature. These are causing more ode than is had. And what this game is about, YouTube ground, I'll gather around. every moment is bottom up with the overall up. I say these words, everyone starts saying it on the line, in the media. Not by accident. Before that, I asked to report racketeering acts of judges and of the other branches in collusion with them. And then all that in collusion with overt criminal enterprises and with private ones originally and still. And with that, military service, database relationships, and with that, we'll use that remotely. This is what forgiveness is about. This is about what is that racketeering method worse than war crimes sustained with those crazy laws, not just with color against everyone. And now what? Go speak. Go speak. So this is what this game is going to do. We're going to have the game. We're going to train. The game itself has to be valued. Otherwise, why would forsaken areas want to take my leadership? Why would they? What would be fun with playing with them? Desperate. That's why we're going to fill the money in. That's what we're going to put. That's what I'm saying. I'm going to order you guys. I'm going to bring order to the game. Evolution only feels like a game. We'll train. We play to seize. Kempis Marcius calls you to the breeze. We have all kinds. This. We take back the sciences. This campus is our concentrated value, as Earth is. And there was, in relationship to the pieces of it we keep sending off. More and more inherent with that, active and progressive. Most probable that Earth's difference to the rest of space nature is that we are closest to the greatest inherent and active, as in the, while we're in the active. And where that is closest left to right, but is everywhere at once. One identity is self-generated. One identity is distinctly, non-distinctly, and simultaneously, and is sequentially. It's three semi-natures distinctly, non-distinctly, and simultaneously. Science reveals this. That which is the body of value that doesn't fit smaller than small. As a value to the order of the finite. Distinctly, non-distinctly, and simultaneously with and as the value to the order, active quality of fact should be nature. We are not standing just temporary positive. We are unceasingly and increasingly temporary positive or negative in relationship to this identity of relativity. Then theory. Because this is not the order to the finite, that and how it exists in conjunction distinctly and non-distinctly with the identity of our quality of fact should be nature, active, life, long inherent freedoms, energy. Raise alpha's people. Alpha is individual. Individual can be alpha or omega. But the physical individual is exception nature. Yin yang cannot be parted. So we'll examine this. There is the order of to the value of physics, to and as the value, to, from, as, with, and for the order of physics, of metaphysics, and of identity distinctly, non-distinctly, and simultaneously in demonstration of this one invisible but still discernible identity of value progression. Clear? So means appear. Bach sings. You've heard not passions right. See, these candidates, they want to debate what is debatable only. They want to keep everything to the back room. They want to keep all the finite answers now. We have means Maids appear. So we'll play this game. Hold chain. You ever see that game, that movie, Warriors? Where he goes, Warriors, come out and play. Hey. It was like a made-for-TV movie. I'm not saying like make a game like that, like area. I'm saying whatever it's going to be, it's going to be simultaneous nature and it's going to be mean stack. And we're going to be claiming and observing as the sciences, as the identity the sciences share, we're going to be observing how the sciences are left criminally foreign influence because our founders didn't have free speech. Would they have speech forced? As much as only semi-liberated. Why and how do you think George Washington had to leave slavery in the North? See, they want to leave punks with passions and emotions dishonestly to defend roles with an identity of negative value nature progression that then self-valued defenses of that increasingly use remote lie progressions from each database. Not about lies. They want to pretend about life because they're liars every second. This is why it's important to understand the very subtle sequence racketeering I caught them doing with the databases of the kids. This is why you have to understand when you say, when you blind, you pretend it's good to be, just, oh, well, this person, I respect this person's an expert on that, and that person's an expert on that. Think, morons. This is how you think. The identity of sequence true before matter, that is the one that generated it demonstrably, most probably at the same time. In the order to the finite, the value of that, smaller than the smallest thing in conjunction with the biggest part of itself, where it's that distinct, non-distinct, and simultaneous relationship to itself, individually grouped and together, individual, grouped, species, grouped area, sexes, ages, physical culture, because identity culture is in demonstration to us. Is greater than the mind itself, boxings. Now, all things have to be simultaneously, though. So if we try to make a movement with the extent we could start from, anyone individually grouped it together they could only afford, that changes everything around them. This is not by accident. These are identity of the ground that is native pure, tactically denatured to cause negative value nature progressions, acts, and natures since before founding parents of each modern nation were born. That was so much chaos, no one was realizing, engineered, was everyone blaming other things other than themselves for that. When the real cause of it is with the same ancient organized crime method realized, worse than war crimes, that evolution comes from perfection's peak, the zenith, and it does not go back. The forgiveness is, in other words, if we change our identity of relationship to this nature's identity, this trinity's, it's one that is positive unto itself. Then we make more positive that stays here, top of the Z, points back towards A. Otherwise, bottom of the Z. Length of IDs away from A's from Z. Length of IDs, forced space nature transfer. I didn't read that. They have other takes on it. They've been defending it. They need the intersciences, victims. If you listen to how the victim, to keep victim predators, the pseudo positive treatment natures, and the identity of positive with the identity the sciences share. Boxing. Prepare! Boxing is because this is in relationship to how locations, areas, and states have a racketeering method, again, with needs for aggression to be criminally insidious nature and collusion. Self-valued in collusion. They don't realize how. That this is sophistication before, while being, and beyond the peak sophistication here. So it hides behind inventions, things like that. Oh, but you didn't take that class. They don't. They have classes. They have. This is not only non-standardized education. It's not only criminally foreign influenced education. It's categorically, tactically, methodically, effectively exploited too. All the reactions and roles from that. Can't even tell American history. Can't tell what James Madison did. No one read about it. But everyone read all these little facts, knowledge they'll use anyway to defend their treatments of positive. Oh, but that's life. That's how you get along. This is what I'm talking to you about, extortion. I can get along with people, but I'm not going to get along with anyone until I get my goddamn response. I get them from the names forging and switching into branch. I'm reporting judges. I'm reporting on off the state judicial branch offices. There's a Joshua. There's a whole bunch of people in the Fienza family also involved with even the networks with them and with their family business and with their ad placements. Even a Trantolo and Trantolo recorded confessed they're involved with wire racketeering. Now I want to talk to you about the passions and emotions. Why I put a yelling on video on there? No one cares about my emotions. I'm not caring about. I'm not asking anyone to care about my emotions or passions. Who's trying to? I want to get someone onto paper. And I want to know what they've been saying in the databases because it's real sick. And that's lie progressions from those to each spot. Now they have to lie about my integrity in relationship to their own, which is non-existent. Worse than non-existent. It's going negative and negative more and more. We need federal stewardships of Connecticut. Think I'm going to joke about 9/11? You punk motherfucker. Whoever the fuck you think you are, put your fucking name there, motherfucking brave motherfucker. Let's see it, motherfucker. You fucking drop these fucking gavels and every motherfucker because they're not following the fucking law. And now they're with fucking child defenders. The same people involved with the witness protection program also tied to the area with the same people tied to these doctors that pretended to had conversations with me, forged names, switched names. Then the two other times they brought me back there for made up things too. First times I forced it. I had to force without telling why, force people to call the police. And it was recorded in relationship to this Dillon family, who was involved with more people through time, not just the principal sex offender that forced. That was used to force. This is also a guy and people associated with a whole bunch of federal criminals and ones that are also the federal criminal co-defendants of Robert Luskin. Now, this is since before the Trade Center attack. This is down the street. His lawyer, Robert Chevrolet, in his office and places near there are also involved with this criminally and with prosecutors. The branches of government individually grouped together have been real sick, have been used remote, and then in the World Trade Center attack. Other nations are keeping this the outcome too. So when you try to talk about this thing, it messes up their time, their ability to treat value treatments where they're sick here and there, suits and ties. They are at integrity. Play integrity. Want to play integrity? Deal with real facts. And they offensively are influenced, criminally foreign influence for worse than war crimes method, pretending about facts. While they're preventing mandated law, the sequence shifts. Free speech, they're pretending to be about integrity. Get down or gather round. CT, you cherry tree, fake branches fall, they're hard to see. Recede, who disbelieves. You mean to tell me all this time I can't get one coward to respond to me where it's recorded clear? Because they're lying about what's recorded over the mail. They're lying about what's actually recorded over the phones. Boxings. They've been using their families because they've been outside they were kept that way. It made me pray. So we'll examine also how they've been using the religions, physical delusions raw, criminally foreign influence, little punks. I tell you move, get me a response. Give me one fucking name who disbelieves Connecticut into branch and the Archdiocese now too. And the Jewish Community Center, that's involved with it too. With judges intercities too. Out of the state judicial branch offices. East Hartford. Watch. Move. Respond to me. I ask you nice, you don't listen. You're going to follow. You're going to learn how to think. I'm going to delineate the delusions from your critically forward influence fact-cheating nature. You fakes who fake conversations with me and love with your kids with the schools too. Get out! Watch. Boxing. I'll show you how to defend each age of fact-cheating, how to liberate and reveal evolution's fruits and gifts and means. Right here, one way redeems. They all. Oh, Liz! I get the Attorney General now. That's recorded. Congress with Mueller called me, that was recorded to get effectively to get them detained. Two, where they have UPS with the Ukrainian. Repeated, demonstrated. All kind of nation sick with psychology. You look. That's what they call it. Justice, get out of here. Get them databases down. Then they brought computers into it. This is an ancient database racketeering method, right back to ground. All gathered around, line progressions. Standing line progression, cover up natures. See criminal and citizens' nature. You want a debate? Call it a debate. They're all offensively self-valuing what they know. It's not debate. They are breaching screens, pseudo-patriotism natures, and tools, and worse than weapons. Here means appear, boxing. So we play YouTube ground. If we can get them to, will you guys help us set up our game? But like, even if we don't get a national, like a television team, like major league sports teams, or like, world sports teams to play. Like we play a game where we have forsaken areas. Clear as day, worse than forsaken. By the racketeering method, American history is about, again, worse than war crimes. That employed each identity ground, you justify that. You can't defend us from what exploits your soul, you decrepit beast pretending other. So we have on a mass scale tactically. We need it is the conviction of the ancient gaming system too. We have to stop killing all the dandelions. See how dandelions are yellow, bees are yellow? You know how good dandelion greens are for you too? It's good for you. They have benefits. I'm not a doctor. That's right too. So we're gonna have to clean out all the original and still logic racketeering, ill natures, these roles with these games. Pretend I'm talking about emotions either here. I'm talking about those acts against me. Because they're in the way of me making the complaint, which now involves the trade center. So I can't even fucking do business with boxing because all the boxing gyms already recorded, confessed, demonstrated, involved with the same sick courts originally still. Each modern nation. There's no integrity. Those are sick beasts. Campus Marcius rises in the east. We claim to see. CT recede. Fake branches fall. I'll build the wall. Boxing. We'll learn about how and why violence must be concentrated to the ring and or the equivalent chosen to maintain, to contain, and then to overcome. That to all locations, areas, and states currently foreign influence and delusions raw, and with their sciences, and with the stewards of their database relationships, and so long worse. rehearse. We make the identity the ground. I'll gather round these forsaken locations. What is peripheral to them too? Maybe there's a homeless guy that's there. Instant millions. One way redeems. We play this simultaneous game. We organize. This is school. This is the campus Marcius. Oh, when they needed pure. When all were needed pure. Boxing. Yin yang cannot be separated and goes inside capital law, which is temporary / lasting positive towards the top of the Z, zenith. So pointing back to A through Z, more identities of forever nature, more identities of forever infinity inside forever's identity, values nature. We are as value nature, boxings. So each cell of your body, not a doctor. I'm going to show you how they have delusions into science law where it counts. With the value of each subject. With the value of history, which are bonded subjects, living subjects, which is value for predicate value. This is /s, bonded, which is value not just for sentence understanding, but as three identities of sequence nature. In relationship to the complete nature of relationship to itself, and the value of that. Not even yet here, but it's here now. And it affects us now. That's why and how a criminal insidiousness nature pretends to be about positive. So we have actors and stuff like that. They already invested them needing through the big E. Not this year. You know, they have the identity of the ground, all routes, roads, and highways. They have this value progression where they have each age parted from each age's completion. See, the kids are supposed to be mad. They're keeping the kids' anger wrong and their care wrong. They're not by action the people that are only there to help the homeless and stuff like that. They're involved with this racketeering method that used and still uses effectively unchallenged, self-valued each location, area, and state. We have the zoning laws. We have the homes that were built since before cars and made worse than semi-unsafe to specifically to keep everyone worse than tortured. Fact, cheating nature slaves. Laws that if anyone was that control what everyone was going to speak. If you heard the speaking about things, they're going to do sick things to you. If you're innocent, you get in the way of life progressions. They're going to do it anyway. They didn't understand. Everyone's a victim predator. We have lost. Evolution works from its zenith, perfection, and/or flees from there, lethal IDs. For space nature transfer. What is nature? Nature is identity. It's identity of relationship to itself. What is positive or negative to itself? Nature. Value of that. Value is to positive and negative, and positive and negative is to the identity. Identity. Each individual has a complete nature of value. By that nature that will only stay complete. Is the exception, an exception nature, as are groups, sexes, ages, areas. We went through this, vaccines. So then we organize throughout each modern nation. We claim this tactically denatured relationship to nature. simultaneously, above that, distinctly, non distinctly, and simultaneously, a tactically denatured modern nation's foundation. And each modern nation is a victim of this. That hurts each modern nation sickly, distinctly, effectively having kept how sickly, non distinctly, and simultaneously from being discerned. For example, with color. Why would all this time we left out what was sickly, non distinctly, and simultaneously hurting everyone, enslaving everyone? Why that's parted from what is black and white conversation? They're playing it out. And people, but they already have the identity of the branches. They already have the identity of every science. They already have the identity of every industry, every location, area, and state. Each identity of age conform. Either ways, vaccines. I get the Attorney General now too. So you will learn about how Mueller and Comey were used by Congress as victim predators, delusions wrought, child abused. If they can't accept that, then we'll show them. And we have to show them anyway. Get them onto paper who disbelieves. Pretend, don't speak about passions, emotions, anyone. Give me a goddamn response from the name response. You see how they force child sex offenders right through administrations? The help of the presidents? We're gonna come to how they were on the routes and roads too. The CCSU, get down. You don't want to answer my fucking. You don't want to give me a fucking response for these judges. You see of you guys, prosecutors. You see guys. They're using them. They're playing some sick games, forging names, switching names. Give me a response in writing now. Now, let's go. Because these are the people involved through time with the principal sex offenders campus then and now, the one near me, and further with my new and past neighbors. They need me to have fights with them. I'm not trying to fight anyone. They attach me to fake aggressions already in databases too, because they're all while they're doing aggression to me with guns, with sequence shifts, with fucking rape threats. Then they started all that shit. These are fucking bad courts with these fucking areas. Now, these are people with Connecticut boxing gyms with the judges and prosecutors also criminally with the same house in my area, directly and indirectly, and with the fucking same fucking mail crime and shit like that. Get the fuck off. I don't have a conversation with those people, especially these fucking PAL gym with his Roland Roy and Connecticut USA boxing with his daughter reportedly at CCSU. I had no conversations with her with these fucking games with these motherfucking douchebags with these fucking child of sex offenders, and they have fucking all these different police departments from different police departments attaching me to fake locations, and with the former director of the FBI motherfuckers before the World Trade Center attack. Same motherfuckers interstate. Get the fuck down. Now they're involved with fucking the principal sex offenders. Then I tried to report parts of it. I didn't even get to all of it because I got caught. I knew they were lying. There rose with untimely deaths. My new past neighbors on off Trinity College also with people Washington D.C. Pentagon involved also all the way on Church Street, right where the Main Street, right where that's right where George Washington had to come and meet with the French general. Only had to leave slavery over with color in the north here too. No, could only send me counter extort down. But right from there all the way to CCSU are people involved with child sex offenders, with medical offenders of kids, other natures of identity thefts, frauds, and racketeering. They're pretending passions and emotions interbranch behind our backs. When you go into courts, they don't let you speak. They make confessions, and then they put other into databases. They pretend other. Get them onto paper now. They did this too many years since before the World Trade Center attack. So we have means to fund our game like that too. Who's going to win? Which force and who? A lot of those places, no one probably has a computer, but we're going to change a lot of things. They're not even needed a computer. We're going to have one. We're ruining more, but we have what led up to and in the Trade Center attack further as our side with a whole bunch of other sides. And how the only counters to that are people with sanctions treatments that are already in collusion. They already, with a method that American history is really about, where they made people blame the real causes of negative value nature progressions, acts, and natures, like predicate acts, like criminal and seditious natures, wrongdoing, other things others than self, like extortion, like slavery, like all that was too, that which was sustained with that. All that was too that nature of positive treatments that everyone's roles with that theater as criminal serious nature. Oh, but we just need to feel good. It's the way we feel, make each other feel. I'm just going for my career. Then get the fuck down. Don't make a fucking opinion with people. Why is it the fucking you keep going then? You guys are with the news that fucking attached me to a fake location, fake words. You see how the fuck they're doing this with the same motherfucking people. Then they're fucking pretending things. Then they're lying about people. They're gonna make the little kids swear. Let alone adults. Motherfucking years of them doing this shit. This is CCSU was involved with child campuses in my town of each age and each nature, also intercities with the same people like the Scalera family. These are people that had DACA program, like a DeMoro family, recorded, confessed, and demonstrated with a Mike Roberts. I barely know him. They pretended other with them with interstate racketeering involved with them, also worse than internation with DACA program also with people involved, Weathersfield Police, further involved male and female judges, male and female doctors involved with child sex offenders, their patients and criminals with other natures of racketeering associated also at the time with and uses of the campus at the same time of the principal sex offenders campus. Know how the Weathersfield Police Chief had his daughter at the campus at the time, and probably still does. Know how the prosecutors do. They're stuck. Now we're going to have the New York game. I'll train. Don't be cowards here, because that's what you are since founding. Cowards. You think you want to pull the trigger. That that's how you pretend. You want to be a cold motherfucker and fucking deny people free speech to demonstrate that we're fucking have we have to demonstrate, because you're gonna see some sick motherfucking delusions, rock cold motherfuckers who pretend to be about science when we come down to what's actually recorded upon each forsaken area like New York City on a mass scale. All nations in this pathology of infrastructure talk to me about fucking morality too, you motherfuckers. Those fucking morality experts with the news are recorded, confessed, and demonstrated also being having been and being coached to hide their sequence racketeering and motherfucking nature's indifferent to the fucking lack of free speech, lack of people calm means to counter interbranch motherfuckers using their locations, mail crime, wire crime. Fucking get the fuck down. The attorney general is buying now. I get the fucking for everyone. Get us a response. Excuse my language. I know you can't talk to the attorney general like that. You guys couldn't do what you fucking did right through fucking administrations. It's fucking disgusting, motherfuckers. I'll speak for fucking what America is about. Who the fuck denies it? Don't let them fucking sequence shift and play those fucking background motherfuckers. All perfect world is forsaken. Get the fuck down. I'll gather round. Boxing was native pure. We'll play. Be trial tribe. Mean stack.